The enigmatic architect. Introducing Ezra Pound. Hi, I'm Zach, the history dog, and today I want to talk about Ezra Pound, a name that resonates with immense power in the world of poetry. He was a figure of extraordinary complexity, a brilliant mind, a shaper of modern literature. Yet he was also a man of deep and troubling contradictions. His life story is a fascinating journey. It takes us through the birth of new artistic ideas. It also shows us the shadows of difficult human choices. Why does Pound continue to capture our imagination and our debate even today? It is because he embodies so much of the 20th century's creative fervour and its profound moral challenges all in one remarkable individual. He was like a master craftsman, carefully shaping words. He wanted to build something entirely new from the old. Pound saw poetry as a vital living art form. He believed it could change how people perceived the world around them. His energy was boundless, his opinions often fierce. He championed young, unknown writers. He tirelessly promoted fresh approaches to writing. This dedication to the art itself is undeniable. It forms a core part of his enduring importance. Understanding Pound is, in many ways, understanding the birth of modern literature itself. From frontier to forefront, Pound's early life and education. Our story begins not in the grand salons of Europe. It starts in a small town in Haley, Idaho in 1885, a rather rugged and remote part of America. Young Ezra Weston Loomis Pound was born into this frontier setting. His family soon moved eastward to Pennsylvania. This change brought him closer to centers of learning. It was clear from an early age that he possessed a keen intellect. He also had an insatiable curiosity about language and history. These early years, though perhaps not obviously literary, laid a foundation of American resourcefulness and a wide-ranging mind. He was a prodigious student. He entered the University of Pennsylvania at the young age of 15. He studied languages with a remarkable passion: Latin, Greek, Provençal, Anglo-Saxon. He devoured them all. He sought out the roots of poetry, the ancient traditions. He wanted to understand how verse had been crafted through the ages. This deep dive into classical and medieval literature would profoundly shape his own work. Make It New, Pound's revolutionary poetics and major early works. Arriving in London in 1908, Pound found a city buzzing with new ideas. He quickly immersed himself in its literary circles. He was not content to be a mere observer. He became a dynamic driving force. His famous injunction, "Make it new," became a rallying cry for a generation of artists. This wasn't just a catchy phrase, it was a profound artistic philosophy. It urged writers and artists to break free from stale Victorian conventions. He wanted them to engage with the past, certainly, but they should do so in order to create something fresh, vibrant and relevant to the modern age. One of his earliest and most significant contributions was the Imagist movement. Pound, along with poets like H.D., Hilda Doolittle and Richard Aldington, defined its principles. Imagism called for direct treatment of the thing, whether subjective or objective. It demanded the use of no word that did not contribute to the presentation. And it advocated composing in the sequence of the musical phrase, not in sequence of a metronome. These ideas, though seemingly simple, were revolutionary. They stripped poetry down to its essentials. They emphasized clarity, precision, and the power of the concrete image. Works like his in A Station of the Metro perfectly captured this spirit. Section 4, the Cantos, an Odyssey in Verse. Perhaps Ezra Pound's most ambitious and certainly his most debated undertaking is this vast, sprawling epic poem occupied him for much of his adult life. He began working on it around 1915 and continued to add sections until shortly before his death in 1972. It is a work of immense scale and complexity. It attempts to weave together history, myth, autobiography, economics, and philosophy. Pound envisioned it as a modern equivalent to Dante's, a poem that could encompass the entirety of human experience, or at least his understanding of it. The structure of is famously challenging for readers. It does not follow a straightforward narrative. Section 5. A catalyst among giants. Pound's central role in modernism. Ezra Pound was not just a solitary genius, toiling away at his own verse. He was a remarkable catalyst, a central figure who connected and promoted many of the greatest writers of his time. His apartment in London, and later in Paris, became a hub for artistic exchange. He possessed an uncanny ability to recognize talent and tirelessly work to bring that talent to public attention. The landscape of modernist literature would look very different without his energetic interventions. He was, in many ways, the movement's chief architect and promoter. His relationship with T.S. Eliot is perhaps the most famous example. Pound immediately recognized the brilliance of Eliot's early work. He famously edited Eliot's groundbreaking poem. Pound's sharp editorial eye helped to shape it into the condensed, powerful masterpiece we know today. Section 6. The shadow of ideology. Pound's politics and tumultuous later years. It is impossible to discuss Ezra Pound without addressing the deeply troubling aspects of his life. His later years were marked by controversial political views and actions. These have cast a long shadow over his literary achievements. During the 1930s and 1940s, Pound became an ardent supporter of Benito Mussolini's fascist regime in Italy. He believed that Mussolini's economic policies offered a solution to the problems he perceived in Western democracies. He was particularly fixated on the idea of usury, or exploitative money lending. He saw it as the root of many societal ills. His economic theories, often idiosyncratic and poorly understood, became intertwined with virulent anti-Semitism. Section 7 echoes through time Pound's complex and enduring legacy. In 1958, after a campaign by many leading writers, Ezra Pound was finally released from St. Elizabeth's Hospital. The charges of treason were dropped. He soon returned to Italy, the country he had adopted and controversially supported. He spent his final years there, mostly in Venice and Rapallo. He continued to work on, though he never truly completed the epic to his satisfaction. In his later years, he reportedly expressed regret for some of his past views. He acknowledged the stupidity and ignorance of his anti-Semitism. These late reflections add another layer to his already complex persona. Pound's impact on 20th century poetry is undeniable and far-reaching.